If my hair touches the microphone, is that a problem? It shouldn't be because of this little foam thingy. But I have no idea. Okay. Honestly, these might not even work. Oh. When I go to watch it later, I'll figure it out. Okay. Yes.
Yes. So my name is Malia. I'm the floral designer here. Today I'm going to be demonstrating how to fill different containers of different sizes, and how you can change it out for the seasons or keep it for every day. So first, we're going to start with this container here. I think is just so pretty. We have a few of these if you guys are interested. We're going to do this one. It has a wide mouth. So usually what I start out with is greenery. So what you want to do is kind of spread it around, make sure that fits this wide mouth. Go. Good. Make it come down a little bit. Okay, I'm going to add another, kind of fill it. And this is a wildflower bush, which is perfect for every day or fall. Definitely change it out, or keep it. Change out the flowers. So that's a good base for this. Next, I have here this wheat bush, which is really good for fall, but it's also good for every day. You can always change this one out. Gonna put that in the center, kind of weave it through. Want to make sure that it's dispersed. You have some of the wildflowers coming through. Now that we have a good base here, we just got these in, which I love so much. They're Billy buttons. They're perfect for fall. So what you can do with these, since they are very long, you can bend them and it'll kind of fill the bottom of the container better so it doesn't shift around. Or you can cut them, but I think bending them is a better way to make sure it doesn't shift. Another one of these. I can go a little shorter. And typically we do even numbers like 3s or 5s, but when you have something like this that has multiple stems on it, you can definitely get away with just using 2. It really just depends on the specific stem. And these come back on really easily. There we go. You can just always adjust it to make sure it stays. But yeah, this is one of our looks that we have today. It's perfect for fall or every day. It's a good size too for any space. Anybody have any questions on that one?
Can you talk about the height of the flowers versus the height of the plants?
Yes. So there's not really a science to it, but I just kind of make sure it's proportional, so 1 to 1, or just a little bit more than the same size as the container above it. But it really just depends on the container. Like sometimes it can be a little shorter or even taller. Also depends on the space that you have and you're putting it. So there's that one. Any other questions? Yes. Yes. So for our like custom arrangements or arrangements already made throughout the store, we use a foam and then a moss, and we use picks and we stick it in there. So that's more of a like a permanent. You could do something like this for that, or you could do like bubble wrap or newspaper if it's shifting around a lot. With this one, it should be good because we have the wide base with the wildflowers and the bent stems. Anyone else? Oh, okay. Perfect, yeah. So I'll set this one aside. Next, we're gonna do this one. This one I love. Thank you. Yeah, I love the wicker on this one. So this one, we're gonna start out with a leaf and twig stem, which is one of my favorites I use in almost everything. Stick that in there. So for the smaller mouths, it's harder to bend it because once you bend it, it's hard to get out because it's so small, it'll get stuck. So you could always use a pair of wire cutters to cut the ends off a little bit. We could always do that for you, but we prefer that you buy it first. So we make sure that you're gonna buy it. But we can always do that for you. And a couple of these in there. I don't mind the height of this, so I don't think we're gonna need to cut it. I'm gonna start off with 2 here. Next, what we're going to add is sunflower here. Very pretty, perfect for late summer, fall, or every day. So typically we stagger them a little bit. I'll show you. We do kind of like a little, like this. With big flowers, it's better to do 3s or 5s. You could also do 2 and then maybe a big focal like dried pod or something like that. But in a container like this, I suggest using a piece of wire or anything that you can tie it with so it doesn't shift around too much. And so that way you keep the staggered heights. Just gonna tie it around.
If you guys have been in our Mondays Mimosas before, you're kind of noticing that again, we're working that rule of 3s, the triangles. You'll see that everywhere. It's pleasing to the eye, even in floral.
So I am gonna cut this one. I'll use it in something later. Start off like that. Adjust the flowers a little bit so you can see them. If you are going to see it from all sides, I would suggest maybe doing 2 more flowers, more staggered again on this side, so you can see it from all angles. Yeah, thank you. Next, what we have here is a twig ball stem, which is perfect for every day, once again, or fall. Very versatile. And they're very bendy, so you can manipulate it a little bit. One on that side. I'm going to add another one. Just have to adjust a lot. Doesn't get perfect the first time. It's hard to see from back here, the front of it, but thank you. So that's another option here. And you could remove the leaves and the sunflowers depending on the greenery that you have in the container. It really depends on the coloring because these do have a lighter color, but I like it with this greenery. I think it looks nice. Gives it some more dimension and depth. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions? No? Okay. I think we're finished with this one. Okay.
The biggest mistake we non-professional make when we try to do it and it doesn't look like that. Do we try to put too much or?
I think possibly it's either too much or too little. You want to really play around with it. Buy more than less, so that way you can see how it looks with like the different amounts. I think too much can be way too dense, so a little goes a long way. Also,
I think the mistake we see most on the floor is too little to begin with, and then people get a little carried away with like bigger elements. You know what I mean? So it's like start with plenty of greenery and then start adding from there.
yeah, you want to build a base. Also, another mistake is not staggering your flowers. That's a big one. It really makes it look a lot better when you stagger it. That way it's not so uniform.
Another thing I have seen is people being too nice to them. These can bend, people.
Yes.
Like, get in there. You can bend them. Some people are like, oh, but I don't want to break it. And I'm like, it just goes right back to what it originally was. Get in there, bend it. Otherwise, it's all going to look like super condensed.
And if it breaks apart, you can always stick it back in. A lot of them are made to easily be put back into the little socket. Thank you. Any other questions at all? Okay. Yes.
So typically, you've gotta like take them down each individual little leaf. You gotta get, if they can take like a damp cloth, do just like a damp cloth on every. I'm not kidding. On every leaf. Yeah. A lot of some of our greeneries. I don't know if we have any up here, but like that wheat probably like it's essentially plastic. And
gonna
it
hold
doesn't
up.
have anything like stuck on it. Sorry, I'm like, it doesn't have anything like stuck on it. As far as like a powder to make it look more real, you know what I mean? Like some of these have like some crazy things done to them, but like this, you can literally just like rinse off and let dry, like fluff it out and let it dry on your counter in your dish rack, whatever it may be. But yeah, any of these silks, you really have to like very carefully. And I'll tell you what, when they get too dusty, like to the point of no return, throw them away. I see people holding on to things for 15 years. Girl, you've got your money's worth. Get a new arrangement. Like you're done. It's done.
I like to spray mine with compressed air occasionally.
Oh, that is.
So.
Okay.
There, a dry paintbrush. Yeah. You're really getting in there. You're not too nice to your stems. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
Lots of different ways.
Yeah.
Start off, or we're gonna do this one next. I'm a huge fan of. This one is very, very pretty. This one, we're gonna start off with the same greenery as this, because it's very versatile. And this one has a small mouth, just like that one did. And because it's so tall and the stem on here is going to be a little short for it, I suggest putting it all in your hand and then dropping it in there. So that way it builds up right here and it keeps it from hitting all the way down. I'm going to make with the middle one a little taller. These are very easy to fluff.
our term is fluff. So when you see us manhandling our greenery and stuff, we call it fluffing.
It's a nicer way.
Such a nice word for the action.
Fluff it.
Next, we have these mop head hydrangeas, which are so beautiful. Or cone head, sorry. Cone head hydrangeas.
Okay, even our florist gets a little confused on our flowers sometimes.
We have
It's
so many
okay.
hydrangeas. We're going to do 3 of them in here. We're going to stagger the height again. And these are all really transitional stems. Next thing we're going to add to this is this dried pod spray, which I think looks so pretty next to the green hydrangea. It really makes it pop because the hydrangea has some light tan hints in it. Adding natural stems is a fun way to give it more dimension and texture. Another. You want to really spread the stems apart. Stick it down the middle.
While Malia's working on this, I thought of another mistake I see. A lot of people do like one greenery in the jar. You know what I mean? Just like they're like keep it simple. You know what I mean? And if you've ever been to any of our Mondays Mimosas, heard me talk, like more is more. Sometimes you can keep it simple, but very rarely. Like the more dimension and texture, like Malia said, you're adding, it's just making it look prettier and more interesting. Like it's not too much. It's not, you know what I mean? Like no one's looking at it and being like, whoa, crazy girl. They're just saying pretty. So that is another common mistake is that people try to keep it too simple and it loses interest.
Yes.
No one's going to stand there and count your stems.
No.
I'm going to be honest.
Okay, now I think we can drop it in there and hopefully it should be good. That one is a little long. Some of these around towards the base. You want to do lots of fluffing. Oh. Oops.
This is very much one of those things that you're going to want to trust the process.
Yes.
And if you feel like you fluff too much, keep going. Just a little bit more, keep going. Take a step back, look, you'll probably have to fluff a little bit more. Play around with it.
Set these over. And we have the staggered ranges. Does anybody have any questions? Yes.
While you're working on it,
Yes.
picture of it while you work, because you'll notice things on a picture that you won't
Yes.
notice with your own eye.
Very correct.
I do have some people say they like to mirror it just to look, because if you're staring at it, it could look great one way, but as soon as you flip it and mirror it, you can immediately notice, oh my goodness, one side is a little less than the other.
I always like to walk away from it after a certain amount of time I will hit a wall. So I'll have to walk away and see it again from a new perspective.
The great thing about these, though, they're not in foam, they're not tied up, they're not permanent, so you can still edit it afterwards if you think something's not working. Super easy to fix it.
You can remove, you can add. Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, very natural. Thank you. Yeah, that's
Kind of then, while you're working on it, you see the neck.
Yeah.
When it's done, you don't.
yeah. You want to make sure you don't really see the bot where it connects from the stems to the jug. You want to make it look pretty seamless.
That reminds me, like, when I do something like is there a rule of thumb to like hide the stems, or what should I not be putting a base that doesn't have covered bottom?
You don't have to add anything to the bottom of your containers. I think it looks natural just to show the stems, as long as like the stems.
We just have like, just make sure that the stems you get have a pretty bottom of the stem that looks natural.
Like this.
We work really hard to make sure that like all of our flowers that we have for you guys are really pretty and natural and high quality for that reason, so that like any part of the flower you're seeing, it's pretty. I have seen some artificials and silks that I'm like, oh. Yeah, Malia went to market with us this time. She's seen it.
Yes.
Yeah, some of them are a little bit scary. So if you're going to, like, if you're trying to get a deal and going to some of the cheaper stores to get your stems, that might be a problem. But just find ones that are pretty and have a nice natural looking stem. And
Yes.
I have another question.
Yes.
And
Thank you.
but then I'm thinking, where would you place that in the house? Because I'm looking at these and I'm thinking, well, you wouldn't want it up high. Just when you're looking under, you put it too low, you miss the bottom part. It's like you almost have to have the right spot for that so that you really can take it in. You know?
I was going to line them up when we were done and kind of tell you guys where I'd suggest. We've had a lot of people do these on dining tables instead of intricate, like, florals. They just wanted a light, airy something that they could easily move. Hearth.
like if you have a big, like one of those big stone hearths that looks gorgeous there, I love them up top. You need a huge mistake I see people make on top of cabinets and bookcases and all of that is like putting a bunch of tiny stuff up there. Like, again, bigger is better. Don't put a bunch of tiny little stuff up there. Something like this is really gorgeous if you have that ceiling height. Like, use it to your advantage. And that's another reason, like, you fluff the greenery down is so that you're not, you know what I mean? Like
We've got them
as good
up
of a
here.
job on that one. We're just throwing that up there, but like fluff it around, you know what I mean? Work it and make sure it's big enough that it's making an impact. And if you're not seeing the bottom of it because it's on top of a cabinet, move it forward.
I feel like this would be really pretty on an island too.
Yep.
I always hear people putting jugs like this on a big island. Feels. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Do you have measuring tape?
Probably.
I'd go around 48. In the 40 range.
It is approximately 46, 47. And the container itself is 22.
Of course, if you needed any lower, again, she said trim stems. Super easy to trim them down a little bit, bend them over a little bit. So easy.
Yep. Any other questions at all?
Let's trade you.
I'll put this on the floor. Okay. Next we have here is another jug, approximately the same height, same width of the mouth. And we're going to start off this fern, which I love. Very pretty, and it has the sticks to it, makes it look really natural and woodsy. You're gonna want to fluff this one a lot. And again, you're gonna want to put it in your hand before dropping it into it because it is so tall and the stems on here are not very tall. Okay, and you want to have the taller pieces kind of in the middle, shorter pieces on the sides coming down. Okay. I'm gonna start off with 2. Next, what we can add, we just got these in. I love them. The moss stem, very fun. Moss. Add a couple of those in there, probably 3. Gives it some more dimension to it. A little contrast. Okay. Next, what we're gonna add is this pod. Here we go. I love these. These look really great in jugs. A lot of people don't know what to do with these. I think jugs are a perfect thing to do with them. I had 3 of those. You don't want to put too much, especially because the mouth of it is so small. Stick it in the middle. Have it come up a little bit. Okay. Just want to fluff around the base. Keep fluffing.
Feel free to ask your question while she does it.
Yes.
Yes, always. I mean, obviously higher quality things are made, you know what I mean? They're made better, so they're gonna resist a little bit better. It's like where you put them. Unfortunately, we could spend $1 million on one floral stem and it's still like it's no match to the sun. So yeah, it might last longer, but if you're putting it somewhere like by a big bay window or you know what I mean, somewhere it's gonna get a lot of light hitting it, like it's going to fade. And that's unfortunately just a fact of life. The even florals live and die. I don't know. And again, once they get faded, retire them. Don't hang on. We have people bringing stuff in that's like, I'm like, when did you get this? You just need to. And we'll always tell you. You don't have to listen. We'll tell you. But yeah, unfortunately, the sun is just.
We've had a few lucky people say they've gotten a little bit longer out of things if they use the UV coating sprays on some of the stuff and like sealing a little, but it's not gonna last you forever. I think. Yeah.
I think you can get it at like the Home Depot.
Yeah, and it comes in like the spray paint cans and everything. I think it's easy.
So yeah, I just fluffed it a lot more. It should be good in the front. Again, I can't really see it, but should be good. Any other questions at all?
You see how we're still kind of sticking to that like 1-to-1 ratio on height ish.
It's really about proportion. You want to make sure that it looks right. I think
Like if you were going to add a color to that, like one of your fall colors, you take something out.
You can always add to it. I wonder, like that. You can always kind of see how this would look.
Depending on how thick your stems are
yeah,
at the base.
you might have to take stuff out.
All right. No, you don't have to do it.
But yeah, I mean,
You were gonna do
it really depends. You could.
I think so. Like this, how it is pretty like everyday neutral. You know what I mean? Like you can leave this out all year round. And then yeah, if you wanted to just add a couple little pops for fall, she just added like that little buttery, creamy, you know what I mean? Like add that pop. And then yeah, if you can fit it in the jug, I wouldn't take anything out. Again, I'm a more type of person if you can fit it. But if you can't, then yeah, I would just switch like
Maybe like take one of these out or something.
But you can always use like 3 to 5 different textures. Do you know what I mean?
So if you wanted to add color that you wanted to leave all year, what colors would you add that would be an all year color?
I think cream.
Cream is a good one.
Different shades of green.
I think even like that blue might be pretty.
The
like we have a
blues.
really pretty blue hydrangea that looks really good with like the browns and the greens.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for color, you can go that way.
We also have this like it's the same style as that hydrangea, just a purple though.
Yeah.
It's really pretty and could be really good for all year round as well.
I think that's also going to be dependent on kind of what you're leaning towards in your house.
Yeah.
Well, we were just saying we like color.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
But if you're saying the yellow and the rust are fall colors that you would only add for the fall, what would you add for year round? So
You can do them all year round.
Anything that doesn't denote fall.
I was about to say anyone's house can be those more like earthy tones. So if your house are those more rust colors and earthy colors, and you have the mustards and the buttery beige, you know what I mean? Like use them all year round.
Yeah, it's not necessarily fall in that sense. We call it fall because that's when we get them.
Yeah.
You know, but
Really
you really
depends
can
on
use
what's in your house.
Yeah.
And we're trying to do neutral just so everyone can kind of get an idea.
Yes.
But like if you are like dead set on having pink or whatever color, let us know.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, I'm gonna do this one again. I'm gonna show you a fall look. We have this, I'm pretty sure it's aspen leaf. Fall leaf. Very pretty. Very subtly yellow. Well, it's kind of bright, but
For the girlies who like color.
yes. I'm gonna do a couple of these. For the moss. No. I have some of the leaf and twigs.
Yeah.
I didn't pull enough.
Maybe.
Thank you. Just one more, please. We do more leaf and twig.
As you can tell, we love a leaf and twig here. It's a good everyday greenery.
And it looks really pretty with bright colors and neutral colors.
We use them just about all the seasons.
Yes. Quite big enough. So this is just another way you can make it interchangeable for seasons. You can always start out with the leaf and twig and like a hydrangea or something. And then you can take out the hydrangea, maybe bring in the sunflower. You could use a sunflower for all summer and all fall. So it's a good staple flower. Move them around a little bit. Make sure it's coming out on both ends and the front. You want to have them kind of coming down. Have a cascading look to it. Let's see how this is looking. Let's bend the sunflower leaves a little bit. This is just an example of using not so many different types of stems. I only have 3 different types in here. If you're looking for more of a simple design. We also have these leaves in 4 different colors, if you guys are interested. We have it in like a red, an orange, a lighter yellow, a green, and a lighter green, which is really pretty even if you mix all the colors together in a bundle. Yeah, you just want to make sure it's all blended. Yeah, thank you. This leaf and twig is like a savior. It makes everything look very wispy and airy. Like if you're making a wreath or something and it's looking kind of dense, all you have to do is just add that in there and it instantly makes it look wispy. Anybody have any questions? No? Okay, thank you. Next, we're gonna do something a little bit different. I'm gonna move this out of the way. So here we have one of our mini baskets, which is a very good gift, I feel like, if somebody was having a housewarming party or something. It's only $16.99 too, which is a really good price for it. I'm gonna start off with the wildflower bush. We're gonna make this one kind of fall. And the wildflower bush is good for fall, every day, really good transitional. You can keep the greenery in it and just change out the flowers. I want to bend them down a little bit. And one more. This one, wildflower bush. I think, yes. Kind of looks like a blooming grass, kind of, on the ends. Okay. Next we have this big mum bushel. It's very pretty. I love the greenery on it because you could use it with the leaf and twig, or any bright green or fall. Like it looks really pretty with this as well, even. We're not going to do that one in this, but just another idea. I'm going to put this one in after. Yeah.
So like when I'm hearing natural flowers,
Uh-huh.
you do that. So when I look at that mom, I'm like, oh, that's a lot of.
Yeah.
Would you ever pull those off?
I do sometimes. I don't mind it for this one because there's so many flowers for it. But if you were to remove some flowers, you could definitely remove some of the leaves. And they come off very easily too. And they can go back right on. But I do that a lot for the arrangements in the store. Even if it's the wrong color, I'll do that.
The joy of artificial. So
Yes.
easy. Take it off, put it back on.
Yeah. Now we're going to add this one back in, just in the middle. Then you want to wrap it through the mum. So yeah, you kind of want to have an even space between each flower, but not too even. You don't want it to look too not symmetrical, but you don't want it to look too uniform.
You're trying to make it look natural with
Yes.
artificial, so
yeah. And then something else you could do with this is add like a little 1-yard bow right here on the side.
we've had some people just tie ribbon around it.
Yeah.
Necessarily put a bow on it.
Right here. There's a few different ways you could jazz it up a little bit. But this is just a really simple look. Thank you. Let me grab
We have
one.
quite a bit of ribbon that uses those colors, so any really.
I think any one of these.
Yeah, just about any on this ladder over here that she's got has that color somewhere in it, so you could easily use
this
it.
one would be very pretty with it if it was a 1 yard, which the tails would be like to there. So I'm gonna bend it and show you.
And we do have a few everyday ribbons that would also look pretty if you didn't want
Yes.
necessarily fall specific ones. I know we've got a green plaid, maybe some,
That'd
black
be
and white
pretty.
check. We even have some black and white check with some borders. One of those could look cool.
A 1-yard bow would be a lot smaller than this, but just to give a little idea, that'd be pretty.
And you can apply that same like bow concept to any of these jugs, really, if
Yes.
you're someone who again likes to jazz it up, dress it up, make it a little more fun.
Thank you.
That's my best.
See, the 1-yard bow would be a lot smaller. It's a little hard to imagine.
It gives you a loose idea, though, of what you need.
That has problems would be a good way of
Exactly, yes.
Maybe he's got a little bit of a break in him. Easily hide it.
We're also getting in our bigger welcome baskets, so
Yes.
they're about double that size. I think they're like 18 by 14 or something. So they're bigger, like that's more substantial for like a front door. Like this would be really cute, like cabinets, bookcase. You know what I mean? Like some are a little smaller or like a side door. But the big, huge welcome baskets are super cute on a front door, or you know what I mean, like a bigger space.
And that's where this size would be perfect for
And,
it.
Yeah. That 2-yard bow.
Yes. Thank you. Anybody have any questions about this? No question. Yes. So what you could do is get a command strip, put it right behind the basket portion, and just kind of hook it to the back to the door. So that way it hangs by the
String.
strap, whatever,
Rope.
and by the basket. So that way it's all together.
So like there's a command strip that has like a hook attached, and if you command strip it and then like make sure that your basket weave or even a wreath, whatever it is, hooks like down into that hook, it will hold it flat
Yes.
against that
Yep.
door.
Yes.
And also, if you're not like, that is a really good way to keep it super secure. But if you don't want to put a command strip or whatever, like sometimes we just don't use the rope to hang it. We'll tie the rope in the back and then put a different little like wire hook on it, so
Loop,
it's hanging closer to that basket, so it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've used those. I don't even know where I got them. They're everywhere. They're little. It's sticky on the back. You pull off the picture, and I would probably put 4 of them or 2 of them at the bottom of the the basket, and then it's a cushioned on the other side.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. If it does bounce a little bit.
And it's,
It
so
doesn't-
she's saying
yeah. Yeah.
kind of a similar concept to the
It's like a little sticky with a little hook, and it would just like.
yours you're saying is kind of a similar concept to like those little stickers you put in like cabinets almost.
Well, they're bigger.
The bigger, but
sizes.
bigger,
You
but
can get a
under
big
that
one right in the middle of the lower part of the basket.
Yep.
Yes.
And that way, if it does,
does swing, you don't necessarily hear it.
you know, it doesn't.
Yeah, gotcha.
Another good idea, if you don't want like one of our wreaths, because we have the grapevine back, if you don't want to scratch your door, a good option is to put like a piece of felt or something on the back. That just
That's kind of what that stuff is.
yeah. That's what made me think of that.
You can just easily attach it to the back of basket, wreath, anything you put on there.
Yes. So that's that one. I was gonna show you a more everyday look for this basket with the same filler greenery. So again, we're gonna go in with this same way as last time. And we have these magnolias, which are so pretty, very elegant, and really good for every day. So all you have to do is bend the stem a little bit. I'm gonna stick it in there. another one, kind of taller. And because these have 2 flowers, it looks very even, which is not really what I'm going for. So what you could do is like cut off one of the stems, or you could always add, I would probably like cut off another stem. So if you're planning on doing a bow, I would leave a space here for the bow. And then you could have 3 flowers, not the big one, but like 3 flowers kind of coming off like this, and the bow here. Or you can do the bow on the other side. You can even do 2 big flowers, 1 small flower. But I probably wouldn't keep it the 4 flowers because it looks too even, too symmetrical, in my opinion.
This is going to be one of the only stems that we tell you, no matter how much you're aggressive with it, he doesn't like to bend too much.
No.
That's why she's telling you cut it. This one does not bend nearly as nicely as some of the others.
So there we have a better look for it. Mix these through it better. And yeah, one of our everyday ribbons would make a really pretty bow somewhere on here. And we could always do that for you. Any questions about the everyday basket?
We get asked a lot how we feel about magnolias all year round. Magnolias are evergreens, so they are always going to be green. You can use them all year round. They just look pretty. They're nice color green. They're rich. The blooms are usually what people are hit or miss on. I think they're a good cream every day. I know magnolias only bloom in a certain season, but
I will say artificial magnolia stems can turn cheap looking very, very quickly.
Yes.
Mhm.
So just, again, keep an eye out for, like, we literally scour the huge, huge market, a million vendors for the best ones. So, like, just make sure you're getting pretty.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And for a magnolia, I think this is just one of the prettiest ones.
Mhm.
It looks very natural.
I was so happy when we got them. We went through them so fast.
Yes. Now we have a ton. If anyone's interested. Does anybody have any questions about what I've showed you today? No? Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. And if anybody is wanting like a permanent arrangement, we can always help you make custom arrangements. You can just pull the flowers with me, and it would take probably like a week, and I can have that done for you. If anybody wants to ask me about that at all, I am totally open for that. Yes, you can. Yes. So we do refreshes too, but for a wreath, typically I would probably suggest doing a new one, like a whole new wreath, because the grapevine will break, it gets weathered, it doesn't last very long. So if it's for a wreath, I would suggest doing a new one.
But baskets or anything, easily bring those in. If we feel like it looks like you've had it for 50 million years, again, we'll tell you. We'll tell you, hey, love this, but I think it's about time you try something new.
Yeah. Did you have a question? Yes, definitely. Yes.
Picture and measure.
Pictures of everything.
With a purpose, not just to wander around. Bring a photo, bring a million photos. We will, it helps us tremendously.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we have to guess on height, we have to guess on
and
color,
measure. Yep.
And
please measure.
Bring measurements, bring pictures, bring anything. You know what I mean? I've got people that bring in for florals people bring in their prints that they have on the wall, or like pillows, or you know what
Like
I mean?
fabric,
Anything that you kind of want to
cuts.
coordinate it.
Yes.
We'll take it. We love it. It helps us, especially if you're like, I have no idea what I want, but here's what's around it. That's fantastic. I can't tell you the amount of times I've had people say, I don't really know what I'm looking for. Well, where do you want to start? I'm not sure. And I'm like, well, I can go in any direction. I need something, just anything. So a good picture goes a long way. Again, measurements on everything, because some people don't take those. They'll come in and be like, I think it's around 15 inches. We'll do that. And they're like, it's way too big.
Yeah.
Measure.
Yep.